Melhoff Security and Technologies sets the standard for all your intrusion alarm systems, specializing in audio, video, surveillance, home theater, and door access needs. Call Melhoff Security, your local Secure Tech dealer, for a free consultation today.
Start off with Ken.
Okay, Danielle, I was wondering what separates the Wild Rose Alliance from other upstart parties in Alberta that just ended up being a flash in the pan?
Well, I think there's a couple of things. One is that we already have electoral success. There are, if you look back over the last decade or 15 years, there have been a number of parties that have started up that haven't managed to get any elected seats. And there have been the Green Party, Alberta Independence Party, Alberta First Party. I think the Social Credits have been trying to gain traction once again and not been able to. And then there's the Alberta Party, did I mention that one? There's a handful of groups that have never managed to gain electoral success. And I think that was the big difference for us, is when we were able to win our by-election victory in Calgary in September, that really caused people to take notice and look at what it is we did have to offer as a party. And I don't think we're offering anything dramatically different or anything dramatic that's outside the values of average Albertans. We're a mainstream Big Tent conservative party. I think what's happened is that the progressive conservatives used to be a mainstream Big Tent conservative party, and I think that there's not much left that's conservative about them anymore. And that's the reason why people are looking for a new party, a party that fits the traditional values that have made this province great and will make this province great once again. And I think they're seeing that the progressive conservatives are not that vehicle anymore, and that we're putting forward an agenda and a program that is more in line with their values. I think that's why we're resonating.
And the second question kind of leads from that first one. Your party's popularity seems to be based a lot on discontent with the Stillman government. How do you see what are the differences between the Wild Rose Alliance philosophy and that of the PCs?
It falls into a number of categories, and I think it goes back to the values that we start on as a party. One of the big values that we're based on is belief in democracy, and there's two ways that manifests itself in our party. One is that we truly believe that an MLA is elected to represent their constituents, not to work for the leader of the party. This was what attracted both Heather Forsyth and Rob Anderson to cross the floor to us, is they felt that they just couldn't properly represent the constituents in their riding under the party that they were in. So we believe that the role of the MLA in representing local interests is absolutely essential. We also believe in decentralized decision making. And I think that what we've seen with this PC government is that over the last number of years, they've centralized decision making into a body of bureaucrats under the dome in Edmonton. And I think that is what's created a lot of the divisions in this province, that we have a politicization of a lot of important decisions that should be left to be made at the local level, and those revenues should be able to flow down to the local level so that those decisions can be made, whether it's to do with healthcare decisions or school decisions or municipal decisions. That's one other area of big difference for us. Plus, we're also a party that believes the principal role of government is to protect our fundamental freedoms, and that we need to make sure that the level of government closest to the people is the one making the lion's share of decisions, and that the provincial government should only do what it can do best. I think that what we see is that we have way too much provincial government for our own good, and I think it's once again creating a number of divisions and a lot of problems with overspending and with disappointed taxpayers. We're not seeing very good value for money across a whole range of government programs. We can do better, and we must do better. And the last thing I'd say is that we're a fiscally conservative party. That the idea of running multi-billion-dollar deficits, the biggest deficits in Alberta history that came down through the last budget, I think are a very clear indication that there isn't much in the way of fiscal conservatism left in the PC party, and we want to change that.
Do you have anything else to add?
Well, just, I mean, I think there's some Tories out there that would say the same thing about how their party's viewed, or how they would like to see their party viewed. And that's their basic philosophy. And so, I mean, I think if you ask most Tories and Tory supporters, they would say, we believe in the Tory party because they are fiscally responsible. So I'm just trying to...
We are the conservative party that the PCs pretend to be. There is nothing conservative left in the progressive conservatives other than their name. And I think that that's the fundamental disconnect that the party has with the electorate, because that is what the electorate is asking for, and they're not getting it under the PC party. If Ted Morton is the poster child for fiscal conservatism in that party, we're in big trouble. He brought through the land use framework, which is a fundamental violation of private property rights, something that our supporters hold dear. He brought through the biggest budget deficit in Alberta history, violating, I think, the principle of fiscal conservatism that our members hold dear. So if that's what fiscal conservatism looks like in the PC party, they can have it. That's not what our party thinks fiscal conservatism looks like.